Keep your distance, stranger. You'll spook the fish, and I'm spooked enough for the lot of us. My advice, don't linger in town, and head back the way you came. You're just liable to vanish in the marsh like the others. Oh, sure, they all come back and laugh it off like nothing happened, but they're off. Just a hair. Heck, they just disappear again anyway. Bet those carnival folk are behind it. Elves. A whole lot of them. All brightly colored and prancing about in strange masks. Daedra worship, if you ask me. They're set up on the outskirts of town. If you want to chase them off, I won't stop you, but I'd just as soon never see you again.
Problem. I'll help however I can.
I shudder to think what your elven circus would consider far-fetched. I'm not so sure I believe it myself.
Greetings, traveler. If you've come to witness the marvels and mysteries of our troupe, I hope you haven't traveled far. Our performance is postponed indefinitely, on account of drama, ironically enough. There's a more sinister mischief in Farmer's Nook than the sort the House of Reveries trades in. I hear of townsfolk disappearing, only to turn up and act oddly. We only set camp recently, but the locals fear we've somehow caused their plight.
None. That farmer Hesef said his sister was among the afflicted, and she died recently. At least he thought she died, but she left no corpse. I must clear the troop's name. With the locals wary as they are, though, I need help, and I can pay. Hesef mentioned that two of his neighbors also had loved ones vanish, Braden DeVoe and Jahuz. Speak with them. They may be more open with a less grandiose traveler. You might also speak with Hesef directly, if you wish.
Any other day, I'd claim to be the lost princess of Piandania and regale you with tales of my exploits, but now's not the time for such frivolities. My fellows and I are entertainers from the House of Reveries, here to perform across all of Tamriel. I've been greatly disappointed with how often I've gotten that question since we departed from Somerset. There's not a soul in the Isles who hasn't heard of the Manor of Masks and its famed performers. But Tamriel will know it soon enough. Theater, conservatory, circus, salon, temple. The House of Reveries wears as many guises as we do. It is the ancestral home of all the performing arts in Somerset, and the world, if you believe some of the sapiarchs. Sleepy little towns like Farmer's Nook are the most in need of an escape from the mundane. We came to offer them some mirth and mystery, but it appears we've been upstaged. Well, our troupe won't be outdone so easily. We have a reputation to uphold. Help, of course. I've devoted my life to liberating people from their troubles, however briefly. And if I can't do that from a stage, then I will take my talents where they are most needed. I may seem a simple thespian to you, but I have had other roles in this life before I found my calling. While I may not count adventurer among them, I'm certain that I am far better prepared to unravel this mystery than these unfortunate folk.
So, working with the mummers. They may seem strange, but you're safer resting at their camp than at the inn. Not to say Braden runs a poor establishment, mind. There's just strangeness afoot in our little village. Folk have been going missing of late, including my sister, Seal. Never for long, a few days. Just enough to plant a worry before they wander back as if nothing happened. But something did. They come back different, like everything's unfamiliar. Weren't her memory. She could recall details down to where she last left the salt, but acted like she'd never tasted it. She'd bring up things I'd long forgotten as if they'd happened yesterday. Started dredging up old hurts we'd put past us long ago. Can't say. Felt like she wanted to relive the past, good and bad. Don't know what would have brought that on. We lead quiet lives now. Happy lives, I thought. Led, I suppose. She's gone now. If it was even her in the first place. Seal led me to our old swimming hole. Hadn't been there in decades. She dove right in like we did as kids. I looked away before she struck the water. She hit hard. When I screwed up the courage to look, just inky black water. She was gone. That's right. Even with that ink in the pool, I could tell her body weren't there. I searched around the swimming hole, too. Nothing. Not so much as a wet footprint or even more of that vile ink, like she'd vanished. A lot from our childhood, mostly. If our parents were around, they were deep in the skooma, so Seal and I had to look out for each other. Not so much anymore. The years have been peaceful here. I suppose we'd grown distant before she vanished. No. Maybe. We'd sit down for meals together and tend the farm together, but there's not much to talk about in Farmer's Nook. Another field planted, another day gone by. Was she trying to tell me something? What was she trying to say? We were all a bit shaken by what happened with Igmund, but things were getting back to normal. Until Seal went out to collect logs and didn't return. I begged the others to help me search for her, but they feared they'd vanish too. Truth is, I didn't make it far myself. I thought I heard things in those woods. Even during the day, it felt like something was watching. When she showed up at the house again, I nearly fainted. I should have been relieved, but I felt haunted. Can a ghost take your hand? Make a meal? If she slept, I never saw it. I barely slept myself. The staring was the worst. Felt like she was always watching, smiling. When she'd blink, it was like one eye was a hair shy of the other. Gave me chills.
Ah! Careful! You might have scared the mare. Who are you? What do you want? You've come about Bugtail. I knew someone would, but my neighbors have kept their distance since he returned. I cannot blame them. I scarcely wish to take him back myself, not after Igmund and Seal, but I couldn't bring myself to turn him away. Yes, or rather, I fear I will share his fate. Bugtail rode out to deliver a horse despite my protest. The gelding returned. He did not. Before I would have been the first to go looking, but I dreaded he'd return, like the others. And he did. Dead, or gone, for now. Even the horses could tell something was wrong with him. I fought with this one's reins as he groomed her, but she started and kicked Bugtail. Ink sprayed everywhere. When I cleared my eyes, it was all that remained. I do not wish to speak of what has happened here, but I will. How many more will vanish and return to haunt us if no one tries to stop it? What is it you wish to know, stranger? In the far-off land of Elsewhere, I was taken by Sea Elf privateers and sold into Imperial slavery. Bugtail had been a slave for many years when I arrived. Like many Khajiit after Queen Eurexia invaded Elsewhere. We bonded, because we spoke so little. You may think me a spinner of tall tales, but I swear I speak no lies. Bugtail and I were languishing under the hot sun, digging new metal for the Imperial Queen, when a dragon swooped out of the sky and scorched the land. In the chaos, we ran. I hope those days have better prepared you for our troubles than I. Truthfully, I do not know what scared me more, seeing that giant fire-belching beast, or my quiet friend standing at my door like a phantom. I would not have suspected anything amiss had I not known of what happened to Igman and Seal. There was nothing sinister in his look or manner. If anything, he regarded me more warmly than he had in years. Normally, he could go days without a word. He seemed to want to reminisce about our more adventurous days, before we escaped to Farmer's Nook and settled down to raise horses. They were livelier times, but I would not trade them for what I have now.
We're out of meat and no hot meals. If those are luxuries to which you're accustomed, you can keep on moving and find another inn. What are you, some sort of adventurer? Yeah. Yeah, you look the part. Sorry I was short with you. Since Igman passed, I've had to work twice as hard and twice as long to run the inn. It's done my manor no favors. Damned fool. He wanted to build a bonfire and drink the night away like we used to. Haven't seen Igman down mead like that since we were barely men. He lost his legs and tumbled into the fire. Nothing but cinders left by the time I doused the blaze. Not so much of a scrap of clothing. Just black, tarry ashes. Never seen anything throw such a thick black smoke. But it didn't smell like you'd expect. Hair and burned flesh. More like old hay or musty linens. It wasn't natural. I want to know what happened to my brother. Whether he's alive or truly dead. Even if the truth says he really did die in that fire, at least I can put my doubts to rest. What do you wish to know? That's right. He'd gone to get supplies from Gideon. What should have been a couple of days turned into more than a week. I'd begun to fear that he'd been robbed and left for dead on the road, but he wandered back into town like nothing had happened. Said he got lost. As if he hadn't walked that road 1,000 times. I'd have accused him of gambling our money away on toad races, but he had every piece of gold he left with. How do you spend a week lost in the wood and not look worse for wear? Like he didn't have a care in the world. He seemed to be enjoying even the usual drudgery. Never thought I'd miss his belly aching over the chores, but he just didn't seem himself. No. Things were as they usually are in Farmer's Nook, uneventful. It's exciting times when our little inn sees more than a couple travelers in a month. Ever since Igman got lost, things have been nothing but trouble. 2 others disappeared since Igman, and all 3 were acting strange before they met untimely ends, if that's even what you could call it. No one wanders from the village now. Some folk are sleeping in my inn just to stick close.
Wait a moment, stranger. I need to speak with you. So you're the one's been asking questions about the people who've gone missing, then come back wrong? I don't like involving strangers in our affairs, but my daughter's gone. Not the first time, or even the 4th, that Annis has run off, but... well, you've heard what befell the others. I'm worried she's in real danger. A few days ago, I punished her for neglecting her chores again. She must have snuck out in the night. I couldn't find hide nor hair of her in the morning. She hasn't been home since. She's a stubborn one. But normally she'd have come back by now. I just want to know she's all right. I hate asking a stranger to do this, but no one else has the spine to leave the Nook right now, and I can't go traipsing after that rapscallion like I used to. Will you find Annis and bring her back to me? Our house is just over there, on the west side of town. There may be something among Anis's things that points to where she ran off to, but my nerves are too frayed to see it. I'm at my wit's end. She doesn't want to live here in Farmer's Nook, I can tell you that. That girl's been trying to get out of here since she was old enough to walk. She's still convinced she's going to travel to Abba's Landing and join some pirate crew. It's not like I raised her to embrace a life of piracy. It's those books her father got her when she was young. Filled her head with ridiculous tales of far-off lands, adventures, and riches. Look, I sailed in my younger days. It's not so glamorous. Sailing is days of rope burns and sunburns. It's being tossed about the cabin while a storm rolls your ship. It's bad food, stale water, and wondering if you'll ever make it home. And that's not the life she's dreaming. And no, she won't listen. Well, any luck, stranger? We don't have much, I know. Anis never fails to remind me. Have you found anything that might lead to my daughter? That's just some old handbill Anis had been hanging on to. Months old. Some vessel seeking fresh-faced deckhands that's long since pulled up anchor. I pitched it to the hearth after our last argument. Probably why she left, but not where. When Anis was little, we couldn't keep her away from it. She'd grab it when we weren't looking and batter the walls and stairs, pretending it was her pirate sword. Drove my husband crazy. I've made do for so long I never bothered to replace it. What's that doing out? Anis's plan for a fort. My husband built it for her when she was about 6. Oh, it must be a moldering wreck by now. Unless... if she hasn't run off to join that elf circus, she might be there. It was east of here, in the hills.
You're off to find this Anis girl, then. Tell me what you've learned. I wasn't able to overhear everything. You've been gone for some time. You managed to persuade the locals to share their stories with you, yes? Did their firelight tales share any common themes? Restless phantoms returning to say their last goodbyes before being spirited away once more? This really is beginning to sound like a ghost story. It's all a little too coincidental, don't you think? There has to be a common cause. You and Hesef have been our only visitors at the camp. If Anis has only recently gone missing, there may still be a chance for us to find her before she becomes the latest victim in this ghost story. Do you have any leads? Seeking out a more comforting time, no doubt. Let's hope she hasn't escaped into the arms of a monster. I'll follow your lead. My expertise in stage combat won't do us much good, but I have a few other talents and tricks up my sleeve. What a charming little fort. Well cared for, loved. Annie says, footprints coming here and heading somewhere else. A list of departures. Annie's had a mind to travel. Seems our pirate raided the pantry before she left. She planned to be gone a while. I wonder what adventures this tiny sword has seen. I can picture our young heroine, wielding her imagination like a saber and cutting her way through all manner of adventure. I crave adventure and freedom. Play is my only escape. I come here to plan. I fantasize about leaving. Doubt holds me back. I need someone to believe in me. So often I'm alone, but today I have a visitor, someone I trust. I go with them. I've never been more excited. I believe I have thrust to the heart of the matter. Hear me out. Getting into character, you could say. Preparing for a part is all about understanding my role. How they think, how they feel. Anything and everything about who they are. I have always had a good head for details, and it serves me well as an actress. She's young, or at least young at heart. She's unhappy with her life, but she feels trapped. She has a dream to follow, but she's too scared to go it alone. Only now she's found help. One place to sleep, yet 2 mugs on the crate, both unfinished. And of course, 2 sets of footprints heading south, into the marsh, dancing all the way. The only way forward is to follow in their steps. Shall we dance too? I don't know who Annie's met out here, but the clues suggest that she wasn't in danger. Yet. We shouldn't dawdle. That might very well be the case, though I have to wonder why she'd leave her pack behind if she had no intention to return. I don't like meddling in someone's family affairs, but let's confirm she's all right before we jump to any conclusions. Someone she trusted enough to share a drink with. There's little doubt in my mind that she left with them voluntarily. The question is, was this person really who they appeared to be? We won't know the answer to that until we catch up with them. The tracks lead to this ruin. Did Annie's come here seeking adventure? We should look around. Despite the smell, I don't think that's a funerary urn. The ashes are too fresh. There are bits of paper in this brazier, but most of these books are too soggy for tinder.
This book is well worn, but hardly old. Given the subject matter, I'd wager it belonged to Annie's. Well, this is troubling. I believe Annis came here and performed some sort of ritual, and not the sort conjured from an overactive imagination. Whoever she followed here convinced her to make an offering to this place. I'm certain that well-worn adventure book was a dear possession to Annis. She wouldn't have torn pages from it for a lark. She burned them in that brazier with her own blood for some ritual purpose. Not yet, but I was a mage of great talent in a past life. If there's any clue relating to what is occurring in Farmer's Nook, I'll find it. There's a good chance Annis will return to town, like the others. If she does, confront her about this. If Annis does return to Farmer's Nook, be careful confronting her. The last thing we want is for her to do something drastic and come to harm like those who came before her. Afraid my witty repartee won't be enough to keep me out of trouble? I'm hurt. Trust me when I say I know how to make a dramatic exit when I need to, but if I don't return to town in a short while, assume the worst.
Everything all right?
You? Your mother's looked all over for you. Where have you been?
I ran away again, all right? Just be glad I came back at all. What's the big deal? This is the 7th time I tried running away in 3 years. Why are they all gawping at me like they're afraid to blink? Do I know? No, I don't know you. Why do you care? And none of those people disappeared. They went after their dreams. I'm not the only one who has those, you know. Nobody wants to be stuck in Farmer's Nook for their whole life. They just didn't want anyone to miss them. It's why I'm here now. I didn't want the last time my mom saw me to be after another fight. But they have to let us go sometime. What? No, it's not like they're buried in a crypt or anything. I'm just trying to say I'm not the only one who felt trapped here. I don't know why I'm telling you all this. I don't even know you.
I hate to interrupt, but may we have a word in private? So, that's Annis Favrod. What do you make of her? How apropos, considering that little library we found is a shrine to Hermaeus Mora. Though I'm still not sure how the Demon of Knowledge fits into this puzzle of ours. Why would Annis consort with it? Perhaps I should have made an offering of my own? It certainly looks that way. I didn't find anything relating to the ritual that was performed at that shrine, but some of those moldy tomes shed a little light on things. The Aliads who used to live out here revered Mora as their principal prince. The shrine we found was simply one of many ruins. I discovered record of another ruin near to Farmer's Nook. If we're dealing with a cult, or some other servants of Mora, it would make the perfect hideaway. What do you say we go check it out? The ruin I spoke of is north of town, not too far. I'll have a word with the innkeeper and Hesef about keeping Annis occupied while we work, but if you wish to speak with anyone else before we head out, I'll wait here. We have reason to suspect that Annis is somehow involved in this mystery. Better to assume she is playing the role of the villain until we know more. Even if she's simply another victim of circumstance, it's safer for everyone that she stay put.
She's back. She's safe. Oh, it feels like I've pulled my heart from a vice. Sorry I troubled you with another of Annis's tantrums. No, nothing. She looks right as rain, and I'd recognize that attitude anywhere. I know what you're driving at. You're saying I should be worried? Well, out with it. Ritual? What nonsense has gotten into the girl's head now? Anise doesn't know the first thing about magic. She's just got an overactive imagination and too much free time. Well, thank you for telling me. I'll mention it when I ground her.
A torn page. We're closing in. This looks right. After you. Adventurers first.
Stand back, you swab! You cannot board this vessel until you have satisfied me, the mighty Flicker!
Look out, she's... Mighty Flicker? From the saga of Captain Wereshark? That I did not expect. Ancient ruin protected by fictional guardian is a twist I never saw coming. Was this Anice's doing? Regardless, I believe you'll need to convince the guardian to let us pass. While that would make an extraordinary claim for the game of boasts, the mighty Flicker there is nothing more than an illusion. The ward upon the door you'll find much stronger. We don't. Trying to dispel or break it with force would be an undertaking, if not an impossibility. Unlocking it, however, might simply require you to play the part the Guardian expects you to play. And you have the script on hand. No need to be so literal, love. It makes for dull lines. The book used in the ritual at that shrine earlier, the saga of Captain Wereshark, that should give you some insight into how the Guardian expects you to respond. Convince it that we belong.
Think you can sail with me, wee one? I've felled giants like trees. I've slapped a dragon around until it got down and licked my hand. I've kicked Molag Bal in the arse once, and he begged me to do it again. Ha ha! Answer me this. Why do we sail? And there you have it. What worth is booty if it isn't earned? What is a battle if you don't cut a bloody swath through your enemies? We sail for honor, for glory! Now brace yourself, wee one. You face the Argonian next!
Will the sea swallow you like so many others? The high seas run deeper than any river, filled with the blood of enemies. A challenge awaits you, sailor. Are you prepared to give our journey your all? Or will you wilt like a mushroom in summer? Tell me, speak true. Why do we sail? I erect the spine of respect. I have fought countless monsters alongside the Wereshark, yet none has ever bested me in battle, much to my regret. One day, I hope, I will meet that which can kill me. Now, face two scars, and rejoice in Sithis.
Think you have what it takes to join the Wereshark's crew? I doubt it. So, you've impressed the big bear and the hard turtle. So what? I walk in the shadow and sleep in the trees. I drink snake venom and piss-honeyed mead. I'm the baddest, sharpest, meanest pirate on the high seas, but I don't sail alone. Why? That's right, we're family! Every one of us, from the captain himself to the lowliest swabber of decks, is one big, happy, fierce, terrifying family. No mere crew can hold a candle to us, because we're not a crew, we're blood. Welcome aboard, kin.
Your performance could have used more verve, but it seems the Guardians aren't judging on enthusiasm. Let's head inside. Oriel above. It's Anis and all the others. They appear to be alive. Let's try waking them.
Dare ye cross sabers with Red Anise?
Gold. So much gold.
Oh, darling. That's lovely.
Yes. Bring Bugtail more sweet roses.
It's a dream. They're all dreaming. This is no normal sleep, but it's oddly benign for a curse. None of these people appear to be in distress. In fact, they seem to be dozing quite serenely. Some of them have been missing for weeks, yet they show no signs of poor health. Not from the spell they're under, no. Though why they were made to sleep and what our mystery stranger intends for them is still very much unknown. I believe so, but I'm not entirely certain we should. Right now, the spell isn't doing any harm, but tampering with it could change that. I'd like to get a better idea how Anis and the others came under this spell before I start striking it through. Now that you've rehearsed your role, let's cast you as a pirate in her fantasy. See if you can reach Anis within her dream and get her to wake up. When you're ready, place a hand on Anis's forehead and start counting sails.
5! The dead have come for us!
If you came to help, you have my thanks. But if... If you came to help, you have my thanks. But it's not needed. Looks like Prince Vogger is going down with his ship. Not that the ship is going down, I mean. It's just... You know what I mean. What did you... No. I'm Red Anise, the Crimson Shrike, and I'll skewer any swab who says otherwise. Stow it, sailor. With Prince Vogger dead, we need to find his treasure. Check his cabin, while I search the rest of the hold. This adventure isn't done until we've secured that treasure. Savvy? Well, let's have a look. Prince Vogger's treasure was a book. Didn't know old Deadeyes could read. Well, let's get it back to Captain Wereshark. Maybe it'll help break the curse. Red anise to you, Swabby. This book, this is about Captain Wereshark and Flicka and the others. I don't understand. This is all a story. But where am I? Why aren't I in the book? I remember it now. I remember it all. Damn it, Cress. You said I could finally escape and no one would come for me. They wouldn't even know I was gone. That was the deal. Cress said that they would make it so I could finally live out my dreams. I could have this life, and they would take my place. I'd finally be free of Farmer's Nook, and my mom wouldn't ever need to worry about my life of piracy. I know. It was too perfect. I knew it was too perfect. Dreams don't last. That's why they're dreams. Just a few more moments. It was just getting good. I just want to celebrate victory with the captain once before this is all over. Maybe steal a kiss before I go. Please, I can tell you about Cress when we're back in the ruin. Just leave me with the dream a little longer.
You're awake! Good. It's been a while since I've worked any magic that didn't involve sleight of hand. Anise is still soundly asleep. Could you not get through to her in the dream? So, she stepped right into the story that's inspired her since she was little. That explains the ritual with that book. How better to keep her under the spell than to put her in a prison she wouldn't want to escape? Insidious. You're telling me this crest didn't take her place? They traded for it? And not just her, but everyone here. What does Cress have to gain from these bargains? To infiltrate the town? What could a sleepy village offer someone who can create dreams? The deal they made isn't so harmless as they might have believed. You've seen how frightened the villagers are. How many more need to vanish before Cress has whatever it is they want? They won't like it, but we should wake them and end this farce. Here we go. Pray that a rude awakening is the worst they have to suffer. It's ready. Wake Anise, and the curse will break.
Farewell, Captain. All right, so we're awake. Dreams shattered. A life of brooms and boredom ahead. Happy now? Cress is different. They looked like Bugtail when they approached me, but his clothes were covered in ink and he seemed unwell. They confessed that they weren't who they appeared to be, but they needed my help. Cress didn't look suspicious to me, just sad, vulnerable, They said they screwed up again, that they couldn't be who they were trying to be. Cress knew I didn't want to stay in Farmer's Nook, so they offered to take my place. I think they were running away too, from a life they didn't want to go back to. You know how many times I tried to do that? But I could never just leave my mom behind, alone. I thought we'd all be happy this way.
She would not.
Mother? I'm sorry.
If you wanted to be rid of me so bad, you could have sent a fake who did her chores.
Where are we? Some kind of tomb? Where's my treasure? Last I remember, I was in my treasure room. Wait, so this is real? The dream is gone? My treasure's gone? Why would you do that? Why would he think I'm dead? That's not what Cress promised. He said he'd just be me. He even agreed to do my chores. Was that all a bunch of hogwash? Heck of a way to go. Wait, is Cress dead then? Damn it. I guess there's no hope making another deal.
How could you do this? How could you wake me? Cress said I would live in that dream forever. It was a damned sight better than this. I had a castle, servants, suitors hanging off my every word. I had everything I ever wanted. You don't know what it's like for us, growing up. We had nothing. We still have nothing. Hesef? Hesef seems happy with his plow and his pigs. He's a grown man, and more capable than I am at fending for himself. He doesn't need me anymore. And Cress was supposed to keep him company. We barely speak anymore as it is. Dead? Oh, Hesef, I never wanted that. I suppose I need to talk to him, like we used to. He deserves that much.
So delicious, so moist, and rich and warm. So much frosting. This one can just barely still taste them. The sweet rolls, the most delicious, moist, warm, fragrant sweet rolls to ever leave a baker's oven. Bugtail ate them often. Bugtail had them all. Yes, what else would one dream about? Have you never known the ecstasy of sweet moon sugar cream melting upon your tongue? This one has not tasted true sugar since he left elsewhere. He has missed it so. So he could, if he were satisfied with iced rolls grown stale from weeks on the road. But when one offers the chance to have them at their freshest and most perfect, always and forever, why would Bugtail not take such a bargain?
Much as I love a happy ending, we haven't quite reached the conclusion just yet. You should speak to Anis's mother about the imposter. We mustn't let Cress escape.
Oh, thank you for finding my girl. I'd never imagined she'd have gone to such lengths to get away from here. I should have listened sooner. I followed you. I was glad to see Anis back in town, but I knew deep down that wasn't my girl, and watching her act a part made the worry in my gut so much worse. I had to see for myself. Back at the Happy Crow, I told Brayden he could put whatever she liked on my tab if it kept her occupied. If you wish to find the freeloader, that's where she'll be.
We will trust Miles.
Try not to judge them too harshly for their grouchiness. We just ripped them from the most pleasant slumber they've ever experienced. We should be off at once to detain Cress. I'll be right behind you. It could be that the two spells were mingling. That's not something seen often. Or perhaps it's simply that this Cress person was also inspired by Anis's dream. Why indeed? It's easy to guess what motivated these people to pursue their wildest dreams, but the workings of this Cress's mind are inscrutable. What would you do if you were them? Would you leap at the chance to live a perfect fantasy? Indeed. We've all had to make choices about what we're willing to risk to attain our desires. Cress's bargain promises perfection without the sacrifice. Who wouldn't be tempted? Is a life without need or want truly fulfilling? I can't say. They have a look about them, one I've seen before. It's the look of a skooma addict, sick and desperate on the street, lost without their escape. With the help and support of those who love them, one can hope. Ultimately, it will be up to each of them to decide what's most important to them.
Have you seen Anis? Have you seen Anis? She ran off. I knew I shouldn't have let Hesef watch her alone. Mile asked me to keep the girl occupied, so I kept her mug full and listened to her go on about her pirate stories. I was getting famished, so I asked Hesef to watch her while I made a stew. That was the last I saw her, until I heard Hesef calling. They were playing cards when she just bolted out of her chair like a snake biter and ran out the door. He chased her, but Hesef's not much of a runner. Said Anis was headed east, out of town. Miles going to have my hide for this. Hold on, real Anis? Who was it we've been watching this whole time?
But what is the...
I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. You're the one I don't know. Why are you here? I didn't run away again, I promise. Excuse me? You don't even know me. I am Anis. I can prove it. Ask me anything. I'm her twin sister. I can't be Anis anymore. I know. Maybe I could be someone else. What about you? Can I be you?
Enough of this charade, Cress. Off with your false face.
What are you... Ah!
You're a Daedra?
Wait!
Don't hurt me. I didn't do anything. I just gave them what they wanted. I just want to live, like you. I'm so tired of watching. I don't want to go back. Don't make me go back. To the unbound library of the one who knows. To record what was observed. That is our purpose. To watch your lives and ink the details down. Day in, day out. Always the same. They know it too. The people here. That's why I offered an escape. I kept getting it wrong. Being a person. Despite all I knew, I kept making mistakes. Bad, painful mistakes I couldn't undo. So I had to try again. And again. Life is hard, but that makes it interesting. Please, let me stay. Don't send me back. Yes, please. I didn't mean to cause any trouble. I won't cause any more trouble. This is where the one who knows sent me. It is what I know. I thought I could live here and no one would treat me any differently. I could finally experience all the things I'd only observed. Friendship, love, family, mead. Mead was good. To know, as they must. Your tiny pupil suggests that is insufficient. The one who knows seeks all knowledge. We observe so that all becomes known. We are the one's eyes, and we are multitudes. Alone, I suppose I am. I had not considered that. I will no longer be a part of the one, but something separate. It's unsettling, but also exciting. The one who knows watches most. The one seeks not to change, but to observe. If the one sees me here, they will know what was once unknown. I would return to Apocrypha and resume the catalog of all things until I've exhausted my knowledge, and the one who knows casts me into the world to observe again. That would not be, in mortal terms, for a very long time.
So, this pitiable creature wants to escape its lot in life, too. Even Daedra dared to dream. I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't feel some sympathy for its plight. When a hopeful becomes a player in the House of Reveries, they cast off their old identity and assume their new role completely. Such a serious commitment attracts only those who most desire an escape from their prior circumstances. I'm no different. Misguided as Cress was, I don't believe they acted in malice. There aren't many stories of compassionate Daedra, but it seems at least some of them might be true. The question is, does this little Daedra's story have to end in tragedy? It may fly in the face of common sense, but I think Cress might have the makings of a fine player. They're a bit unrefined, but taking on a new role seems to come naturally, and they'll never forget their lines. I could sponsor them to the house. I thought so, and my eye for talent is one of the best among the players. By the time Cress presents themselves before the Grand Maestro, I will have transformed them into a master thespian. I'll stake my reputation on it. All's well that ends well, as they say. This certainly wasn't the direction I expected this story to take, but a good mystery always keeps you guessing. You were a grand co-star. If we ever adapt Investigate a Veil for the stage, I'll be sure to call. All right, Cress. I have a deal for you.
You do? Does this mean I can stay?
No, not in Farmer's Nook, anyway.
Oh. Does it mean I don't have to go back to the library?
Yes. And you will get to live a great many incredible lives.
I can? What do you need me to do?
Watch and learn. You're going to be my apprentice. Now, let's get you a mask. Now, if you're going to be a proper hopeful, I'm going to need you to take a form similar to one of my players. Can you do that?
Oh, yes. With your help, that will be easy. How is this?
You'll have no difficulty with brisk scene changes, certainly. Now, for a name that speaks to your soul, what about Dreamer?
Dreamer.